Good day, this is Gabriel Deveraturda from Group 6, and I'm going to perform the schematic diagram of our DOE, which is about Air Flow Detector circuit. So first, we will place all the ICs. So go to Component, and then Component and Symbol Manager. And then select Find, and then first, you will select LM7805. Then insert into schematic. And then next one, component, go to components, and then select LM339, and then insert into schematic. So as you can see, there are multiple LM339, so we'll be using the pins 5, 4, 3, 2, and 12. And for the next one, we'll have the NE555. Go to component, and then 5, find NE555. So there's no NE555 in the component list, so we'll have to construct it manually. So first, go to add rectangle in new component, then drag it. Next one, place pin on new component. So this one is pin 1. This one is pin 2. This one is pin 3. This one is pin 4. This one is pin 6. This one is pin 7. And this one is pin 8. So drag the whole component, and then go to component, group to make component. So this is the third IC. It is NE555. And this one is the first IC. And this one is the second IC. And for the next component, we will place the two polarized capacitors. So go to place a component, and then select passive capacitor polarized. So this one is 47 microfarads, and the second capacitor is 47 microfarads. And then we'll place the filament, which is the inductor. So go to components and then select passive inductor. Then we'll place the resistors. Next, we have one potentiometer, so select passive potentiometer. So this is R1 with 500 ohms. This one is R2 with 1 kilo ohms. This one is R3 with 10 kilo ohms. This one is R4 with 20 kilo ohms. This one is R5 with 1 kilo ohms. And this one is R6 with 5 kilo ohms. And then next one, we have the buzzer. So the buzzer that we will be using is the same with the first experiment, which is CEP2224. So I have saved it as a custom component. So go to component and symbol manager, go to custom components, and then select the CEP2224 buzzer. This is for the setting of alarm when a threshold is reached. So for the next one, go to components and select the battery, miscellaneous battery. So the battery has 3 volts. Next one, we have the go to place a symbol or signal label and then select power voltage supply plus 12 volts. And then we have the ground, select power ground. And all that is left is to wire the components accordingly. So place wire. This one is filament. So we'll have 15 volts here and here. And so that is the airflow detector schematic layout. So for netlist errors, go to file and then check schematic for netlist errors. So there are no errors or warnings found, save the file. So we have the schematic diagram of the airflow detector circuit. Thank you for listening.
So hi guys, my name is Arthur and today we're going to make the PCB for our DOE. So for our PCB we made a airflow detector. We're going to make an airflow detector PCB. So as you can see, this is our schematic. So we'll base our PCB on this because we're going to link this later on to our PCB that we're going to make. So let's just move this right here, and as you can see here, this is the PCB wherein I already placed all the components we're going to need to save some time. So this is a battery, this is resistors. We're going to need 5 resistors, while for R4 is a potentiometer. This one's a custom component as well, a buzzer, which we use in experiment 1. And these are some capacitors. So this is IC3, 8 pin, and this one's 14 pin for IC2. So this one is LM339, and this one is an E555. So an NE555 has 8 pins, while a LM339 has 14 pins. While for IC1, this is a LM7805, which only has 3 pins. So those are our components that we're going to use. So now that we already know what components we're going to use, let's start. So as you can see, I already linked it earlier, so let's just link it again. So as we can see here, the PCB has been linked. So now let's start connecting. So to know the proper connection, we're going to need this tool. So when we're connecting from the positive, we're going to need a larger trace. So we're going to use this. Just move that a little here, so that later on when we place this green one, the field plane, we won't have any trouble. So just connect this, just choose the wire tool, and let's connect it to the buzzer. So that's that. Then let's connect it to R3. So as you can see here, this is R3. It's connected, and IC1, we're going to connect it to IC1. And then we're going to connect it. So first let's connect IC, let's connect the capacitor first, because as you can see here, the capacitor 1 is on this side, R1 and R2, then the inductor or L1 or the filament. So now let's just move C1 here, over here, let's just move this over here, and then let's connect. That, so it's connected, as you can see it's connected. And then let's connect R2 and R3. So I just use this tool. So as you can see, that's R1 and R2. So for R1, it's going to be the one in the left. Let's just rotate both these components by 180 degrees. So body only 180 degrees. Let's check that. And then R2, let's flip you 180 degrees. And so set. Just move them upwards. And for this one, we're going to need a smaller, where we can use a smaller trace for this. So let's use 0.25, which we always use in our previous experiments. Let's just move that a little bit higher. Sorry for the noise. So that's it. And now we're going to connect the L1 or the filament, as I said earlier. So I haven't placed the filament here yet. So for the filament or the inductor, we're going to use a component, which is this. So this one, this is, oh, that's not the one. So that's a inductor too, but I want the 101608, SMT inductor 1608. Oh, this one. That's so the filament is what the wire that we see inside a light bulb. So just rename this to L1 so that you can use the net connection tool, and just highlight that. So as you can see, we can connect that here. Let's just flip this 180 degrees and let's start connecting. So we're going to use a 0.5 trace again for connecting. So for some reason it's not connected. It's connected properly. Yeah, it's there. It's connected. Let's highlight this. So I made the wrong move for there. I didn't need to rotate this too. So let's just rotate them again. 180. Let's just redo this wiring for this. Just move that inside, and let's move this a little downwards. These two. So that's that. Let's just fix that later on. So we're going to connect it to IC1 here. So let's just connect this to this and to this. Then for this one, I'm going to connect it to R2. I mean 2. So as you can see, if you highlight this, it's connected to R2 and R1. So either way, let's just do this like this. Just connect it here to this, to the middle bar. Then let's just fix that. So now we're going to connect them to IC2. So it's time for IC2, the biggest one. I mean to R4 first. So as you can see here, this is R4. It's connected. This arrow will be connected to the middle of the potentiometer. The R3 goes here. So first, so let's just interchange this because R1 needs to be the one in the left. For this one, let's just connect it here. So as you can see, if we try to move this, those wires are also moving, so that indicates that it's properly connected. So all the connection there are good. So now let's use the potentiometer here. So for the potentiometer, we're going to connect L1 to this pin. So for the wiring, I'm going to just fix that later on. Visually, I'm going to fix it visually. Let's connect this the top pin to R3, as you can see, R3 to this pin. So that's that, and then we're going to connect to IC2. So for this pin, it needs to be connected to this pin. So just move this a little bit higher. Then let's start connecting this to this, and that's that. So now I need to highlight this. So we need to connect the battery to the IC2. So 0.1 trace, and then we're going to connect R5 to pin 2 of IC2. So this is R6, this is R5. Sorry for the noise, guys. So we're going to connect it to this pin. Just rotate this to 90 degrees. Just move this a little bit here. I'm going to need more space. And let's highlight that. So connect 0.25, trace that 1 and 2. So as I said earlier, I'm going to fix this visually in terms of visual contents later on. Just make this here. There's a little bit more space. And then that's that. So now let's connect. Just use the highlight tool. So for R6, we're going to connect it to R5. Just move this here. Just connect. And then for R6, we're going to connect it to C2. Just connect it to C2 here. Then C2 will be connected to the IC. This IC. And then let's just connect this, and let's just fix that because that looks ugly. It's not visually appealing. Just delete that, delete this, and let's rewire again. Then let's just fix this. Just connect it like that. and delete that, delete that. Let's do this again. So here it will be connected here, and this will be connected here, and this will be connected here. So all are, so let's just try if they're all properly connected. Now it's properly connected. Just highlight these pins, so that's ground, that will be there. This one needs to be connected to the battery, so let's just connect that first. You see 0.1 trace. Just move the wire here. Zero in terms of so that's that. This also needs to be, this one, let's just connect this to the buzzer. And that's that. Highlight this. This one needs to be connected to the ground. 0.25. So that's that. And now let's just use the highlight tool again. So this one needs to be connected here, and this one doesn't have any connections. So just move this here, and then here and here. So let's just highlight that, and highlight this. It's ground, it's alright. No connection, no connection. This needs to be connected here. Just connect that here later. Let's check for some connections. This needs to be connected here. So we're only missing 2 connections. After that, we can connect everything to ground. So this pin is connected to R2. And just undo that. Let's use this and connect it here. So let's just fix that a little, and I'll finalize this in terms of visual content later. So that's all for the connections. So let's just check all the unconnected ones. This one is ground, so these are the pins we're going to connect to ground, so everything is properly connected. So you can see here it's connected properly. Here, check, 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 check. 1, 2. Okay, okay, okay. It doesn't need to be connected anywhere. So now let's use the field plane. Just use a green one first. Just undo that, and let's place the field plane. So I don't know why IC3's text is placed there. Let's just fix it later. So there we go. Just undo that. Let's do it again. So to here. So let's just move this. That's that. And now let's just highlight these. So 3 ground planes. So it's bottom layer pad, thermal pad, filter plane. The other ones the other one this thermal pad, filter plane. So for IC3 labels, place it here. So is that let's place a group 5 Air Flow Detector. Let's place this here. Let's turn that to red. So yeah, that's that. Thank you for watching. For